to ask someone 10 years ago who their favorite superhero was, they'd probably say Batman, Superman, or Spider-Man. If you ask them now, it would probably be more like Iron Man, Captain America, or Spider-Man. There's been 3 different live-action movies, an animated movie, and numerous TV shows and video games based on this beloved character. But why? What's so special about a flawed teenager with everyday problems? Well, that's it. He represents us. He is flawed. Part 1. The History. August 15th, 1962 was the day the icon reached viewers through Amazing Fantasy number 15. He was brought to life by comic book legends Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. He was invented due to the rise of teenage comic readers. Lee said he wanted teens to have someone to relate to. Sure, not all of us have had an uncle get shot, but we have lost close people. Not all of us have super strength, but we all are susceptible to feeling grievance or remorse. Not all of us have superpowers, but we all have a responsibility to do good. That's why Spider-Man's unique. Underneath all of the powers in the suit, he boils down to a goofy nerd getting through high school. Part 2. The Movies. From 1962 onwards, Spider-Man was a pop culture icon. In 2002, one of the not only greatest superhero movies, but a staple in cinema, came out. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. It was the perfect introduction to the character on screen and really drew in millions of fans. It was even the highest grossing film of its time in 2002, coming in at $821 million. Of course, we then got the Amazing Spider-Man reboot in 2012, coming in at $757 million, Homecoming in 2017 at $880 million, and lastly Spider-Verse at $375 million, not counting any sequels, of course. This was huge, not only for the comic book industry, but superhero movies in general. Even though not all the movies were received great, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. It's pretty impressive just how many people love seeing Spider-Man. Part 3. The character. Who is Spider-Man? Now that you know why he's popular on the surface level, now we can delve deeper into the psychology, if you will, of Spider-Man. You see, Spider-Man most of the time is Peter Parker, a 15 to 16-year-old nerd getting bullied whilst getting, or at least trying to get, the girl next door, Mary Jane Watson, all usually during high school. He lives with his Uncle Ben and Aunt May, who symbolize the kindness of Peter's character. They live in Queens and deal with financial problems. Since Peter is a teen, he's a bit angsty, leaving him to argue with his aunt and uncle a lot, even though he still loves them. One day, he goes to a science presentation and gets bitten by a radioactive spider. He gets his powers and is shocked. Due to this, he tries to bank in on his newfound powers. He goes to a cage match paying $300 because he needs money for his family. He, of course, lies to Aunt May and Uncle Ben about his whereabouts. He tells them he's going to the library, but he really is getting money. He wins the match, but at a cost. A criminal runs right past him, and he just lets him go. That criminal would later take Uncle Ben's life. As a result, Peter decides that he needs to use these powers for good, because it's what his uncle would have wanted. With great power comes great responsibility. Part 3. Continued. You can clearly understand how Peter feels guilty, since he could have prevented his uncle's demise if he had just stopped the criminal. You could see his cracks. We all at one point experience guilt, remorse, death, and bitterness. It usually gets the better of us. It's how we use our emotions that defines us, though. Peter and Miles aren't the only people who can be Spider-Man. Just look at the comics. Just kidding, of course. There's a reason they wear a mask, not only to hide their identities, but to convey how all of us can be Spider-Man. Part 4. Ending. Thanks to you, the viewer, yes, you, for taking the time to watch this video. This is my first, so if it's a bit choppy in the editing, I'm sorry. If you enjoyed this, click the like button. If you didn't, that's fine. We all have our own opinions. Feel free to dislike if you want. If you want more, let me know, and if you want more content coming from me, let me know in the comments, and consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. Signing out.